Hello everyone. So in this video, we'll be talking about large language models and how you can run them on your local computer. But before that, I want to talk about ChatGPT and uh, ChatGPT 4, which is one of their products and which is a paid version. And currently, this is state of the art. So, what is ChatGPT? So, if you don't know already, so this is like an assistant which can basically answer anything you want. So most of the time it is correct, and you can think of it like as an assistant to you, and you can use it like an assistant for basically any task, right? Let me show you how you can do that. So let's say you want a recipe for making tea, for tea, right? It'll give you that. So there's this base model, which is ChatGPT 3.5. This is free to use, but ChatGPT 4 is another one which is paid and which is slightly smarter than that. Uh, but yeah, so it works really well. It's a state of the art. Now, there are some issues which I want to talk about with this. So the first thing would be that it requires you to have an internet connection, which is not a problem as such. But let's say you're traveling or you are at some remote location where you don't have a good internet connection, then you're not going to be able to use this, right? Uh, Second, if you want to use the better models like the GPT-4, which have image production like tally features and some other features, then you need to pay. So, for instance, this one costs about $20 a month, and which is a lot if you add up. Uh, maybe a lot, maybe not, depending on who you are, but certainly it's there. It's something which you might want to avoid in some way, right? And the other problem with this would be that it's not actually aware of events that happen after a particular threshold date. So for instance, if I just ask, what is your cutoff date, is your cutoff date, and it'll tell me that it has a cutoff date, which is April 2023. But so it recently was updated, it seems. But before this, it used to be 2021 for quite a significant amount of time. So you wouldn't be able to ask it questions after that date. And even if you want to ask it, then it will try to do a web search kind of thing, which may not be returning you the best thing you might want, because the way this web search is works is actually different from the base model. So yeah, so these three problems, right? The first being the internet connection requirement. Second would be the cost for uh, these better models, and the third would be limited knowledge and functionality sometimes. Um, so yeah, so there a better option than this that you can use? Yeah, certainly. So what I want to talk about today is that the fact that you can run large language models on your local computer without even having an internet connection. So there are many ways you can do that. One of them would be, which I want to talk about, is LM Studio. So this is a really great tool. You can run on pretty much anything. You can run it on Linux, Windows, Mac OS, name it. Uh, and there are other ways you can do this. Would be one of them. One of the ways would be to use Olama, which is a similar tool to LM Studio, but I have found that LM Studio is actually way better in terms of running bigger models because of the better options that it provides. The fact that you can use offloading. So we'll talk about this in a second. So basically, I found LM Studio to be the best right now for beginners and people who just want to run these models as fast as possible. So let me just show you how you can download this. So it's very easy. Just Google search LM Studio and go to this link, and from here you can use this link, and you'll be basically and what you will see after that will be this. So this is going to be the LM Studio, and initially, it's going to be empty. Initially, there are going to be no models, but you can search for any models from here. So the best one I found right now at this moment would be Mistral and Mixtral. So these are really good models that are available. You can maybe by the time you're watching this video, there may be better models than these, but I found that these two models are really good at most of the tasks, and they're not that big either. So this Mistral model, it's actually bigger than the Mistral model. So, but on my other machine, I'm able to actually run it quite fine because I have two GPUs over there, and the fact that you can also offload some of the computation to CPU, so which is really good, which is really amazing. But let's just talk about Mistral model, which you can run on pretty much any hardware, even if you don't have a solid GPU, that you can still run it. So it will tell you that you can actually offload this model to your GPUs, which is great because these models require GPU computation. They're really GPU heavy. They're hungry for GPUs. So the better GPU you have, right? The better GPU you have, the better it's going to run. So this machine doesn't have the best GPU, but my other machine actually has two GPUs available, and this LM Studio is able to take advantage of both the GPUs simultaneously, which is really cool. So one of them is RTX 3090 and the other one is RTX 3060 on my other machine, and it is really amazing that it can actually divide the computation really well in those GPUs. And even if they are not sufficient, right? So you still need more GPUs. Then no worries, you can still add them. But if you don't have them, then you can offload the rest of the computation to CPU, and LM Studio really does this job really well. So today I'll just show you how you can run some of these models. So this Mistral model, I think one of the best, uh, and you can download any of these models which is supported. So this full GPU offload possible, right? So ideally you want to run these models uh, whenever possible. The larger the model, the more quality it has. Um, but if it's too large, it may not fit in your GPU, and which is not what you want, because then it's going to use CPU and it's going to run really slow. So for instance, I have just loaded the smallest model here, which I can fully offload to my GPU. Um, it, uh, but I can also run it on my CPU, no issues. Just fine. If you don't have a GPU as well, then it's going to work fine. So I can just ask it anything I want, and it's going to return me the proper reply. So I can just like ChatGPT, you can create new chats, and it works basically the same, right? You can ask it questions, how to make a tea, make tea, and it will give you the exact reply you might need. So this is all running in CPU, by the way. You can see, right? It's running. I have done no GPU loading, offloading whatsoever, but I can also do that if I want. And these replies are going to be much faster if I use GPU offloading. So, but before that, what I want to show you some more things that you can do with this. So there are lots of configurations you can do for this model. Um, yeah, so one of them which we discussed is GPU offloading and acceleration and all that, but you can also set the context length. So this is basically telling the model how long you want to remember a history, conversation history, right? Because you can keep on talking with the model, and at some point it's going to be too large for the model to handle, because right now all of these models, this problem is there with GPT-4 as well, by the way. So it remembers up to a certain length, right, and after that it'll just forget whatever is there before that. So the same thing is here. You can set exactly how much of the tokens. So it's not exactly that a word is a token. Our word could be made up of more than one tokens, but it's let's take one token per word for simplicity. So right now, if it's about 2048 words that it can remember, and after that it's going to forget it, right? So you can set these here, these options here. So one of these options, which is currently selected here, is that it maintains a rolling window, so it remembers the last 2048 words and it truncates the past messages, basically forgets them and continues with the conversation. So this is, I think, the best option, and you can also use this depending on if you want to instruct it uh, at the beginning, right? You can maybe say, okay, make your so I can actually try to show you that. I can basically delete this, and yeah. be concise, be very concise with your answers, right? So now it's going to say, yeah, might say, right, I'll be concise with my answers, understood. So I can now how to make tea. So I don't have to say be concise for every single for every single request, because I've said it at the beginning. But if I had this maintain a rolling window feature, right, it may as well forget it, right? So it may not, it may now start giving me detailed steps which I don't want. So there are multiple ways you can counter that. One of them would be to, like, not use this, right? One of the ways would be to use this, which what we are using, but the other way would be to still keep using the rolling window feature, but instead of giving this instruction here, you can give it in the system prompt. So that is another way to handle this. But yeah, so it's up to you how you want to handle these things. So this is why LM Studio is so great. You can configure all of these things, and not just these, right? You can actually configure a lot of other things. For example, you can configure how much randomness it needs to have. You can, so that it gets it returns different answers every single run. All right, so that's really cool. So let's go here, and I want to show you how you can run uh, a server for this. So this is if you click here, you can click on start server. So what this does is that it runs a server which is just like ChatGPT's API. So if you're aware of ChatGPT's API, ChatGPT open APIs. So this is a way you can interact with these models programmatically, mm, and you can use these, you could use these APIs to build sophisticated tools as per your need. So one of the use cases I want to show you is, let me just show you one of the use cases. Right. So yeah, I want to show you this. This is a tool called Interpreter. So which is really cool. There is a GitHub repo for this. So this is a pretty cool project that allows you to talk to the computer just like a human. So I'll just run this. So this is using the same kind of tooling, basically using LM Studio to expose these APIs, which is basically running a local model behind the scenes. And now you can talk to it however you want. So it's running now. I'm going to ask it, what is the time right now? Use Python. So it doesn't use other languages, because I've seen that this open interpreter is actually not that great with other languages, but it's with Python, it's pretty decent. Right, so there it is. It gave me the time right now. I can actually ask it a lot of things and give it a task, and it's going to complete that. So I can use it to maybe write a story and uh, like place it in that file, right? Or maybe read that file, right? So you can talk to the computer like you would with a human being. It's really cool, and this is all due to the power that you can use these kind of things. Amazing, which is all right. So next, last, I want to talk about GPU offloading. I want to show you how this works. So all you need to do is to click here, and then you can set how many layers you want to offload. So this model, the one which I'm currently running, it has 32 layers. So I can actually offload all of it if I want. So let me just show you how you can do it. So either you can write 32 here. So that's one way. Another way to do this would be to use -1 here, tap enter, and then you can click on reload model to apply configuration. So it's actually loading this model in the GPU right now. So you can see the increased memory usage. And now if I can just do a regenerate, let's see, it's responding, which is fine. If the GPU was better, it would be much faster. But yeah, definitely it works. And you can, the better GPU you have, the more GPUs you have, it's going to work the better. I hope this video was useful and you had fun. Subscribe. In the upcoming videos, we'll take a look at how you can use these kind of tools to run and interact with these AIs in multiple ways. One of them would be to use an Android app so that you can basically communicate with these APIs no matter where you are. Okay, cheers.